Mr. Chair, I see my time has expired. I yield back.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Representative Fulcher for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to the panel for your testimony, both in person and in writing. Just the fact that you came here is important to us. Please understand that a number of us are doing the committee juggle today, so not being rude on coming and going, but it's just doing more things at the same time. But Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the time. It's good to be talking about the impact of coal extraction and leasing, especially on federal lands for states like mine in Idaho, where there's so many federal lands. And I too am dismayed by the efforts that the current administration has had on hindering domestic coal production when our energy needs are at all-time high. And this is especially true when it comes to baseload capacity. We talked about I've heard you talk about the importance of baseload. And coal is also used in production of steel. And currently, Mr. Chairman, I just came from an E&C meeting. We're talking about the shortage for steel, particularly for the use in utility transformers, and the impact that that is having, and which is impacting all of our constituents directly right now. So, is it Luthi or Luthi? I'm sorry. Luthi. Mr. Luthi, in your written testimony, you noted how recent winter storms brought to light the importance of having well-balanced energy sources for electricity. Just remind the committee, if you will, just how important coal is to the baseload. Underscore the word baseload energy needs.
Thank you, Representative Fulcher. And I might add, I am from about as close to Idaho as one can be. So I appreciate
Just go a little
that.
bit further and you'll be in heaven.
Well, it's one way to put it. Again, baseload is what's important. Baseload is dispatchable 24-hour power. You know, renewables, again, have their place. Wyoming supplies about 16% of the renewables that's on the market today. We feel seriously about being able to provide a wide variety of energy sources, but you do need baseload 24-hour power that's available on demand. Frankly, right now, it's fossil fuels that can provide that. And again, the goal should be to reduce greenhouse gases. If that is truly the administration's goal, that's where our focus should be.
Okay, thank you for that. And a related note, also in your written testimony, you talked about how FERC said the rapid rate of coal plant closures are putting the grid in danger. How much additional capacity does Wyoming have to meet the needs of the country in terms of coal production, specifically on federal lands?
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, Representative Fulcher. Wyoming has plenty of coal. We're willing to use it. We are willing to be able to make that also available to the power companies that need it, and we're happy to do that. As we saw just last year, we had more coal than we could actually ship out. We had more demand for our coal for electric from power plants than we could actually ship out.
Thank you for that. I've got one more quick one for you, Mr. Luthi, and then I'm going to try to go quick. I got one for Mr. Driscoll as well. But I understand that the coal export terminals on the West Coast have been consistently blocked by federal and state regulations. What would be the impact on Wyoming coal production if exports were supported on the West Coast?
Thank you for that. And the question, I think, would be easy to answer. We'd be able to export more coal. We would be able to keep our coal communities whole. We'd be able to move forward.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Driscoll, I'm going to go off, and I'm open to anyone, but I'm just looking at your background. You might be the best one to address this. And this is something just popped into my head as we were talking and I was listening to the other testimony as well. Sometimes we have the ability to learn from some of our friends or other countries from around the world. And you may or may not know anything about this, but it is my understanding that over the last few years, our friends in Germany have struggled with some of their previous energy sourcing decisions. And it's my understanding that they have migrated back to coal and coal production for their energy needs. Do you know any, and this is, I realize it's not immediately in your wheelhouse, but
no, I mean,
does anyone on the panel have any insight to that question and what the experience has been with our friends in Germany and the migration back to coal?
I know they have opened some of their closed facilities because they were migrating completely away from coal-produced electric plants, and they've now brought them back online, taking them out of the mothballs and put them back online, quite a few of them.
Mr. Chairman, I just, as a comment to you all, I know we've touched on that a little bit here within the committee, but I just think it's of note that we have been blessed with a resource, and we have decided ourselves to restrict the use of that blessing. And as elsewhere exemplified in the world, that may not be the wisest decision. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time. I yield back.